On this video, I'm going to be reviewing 4 of our coaching clients' real estate photo shoots and giving a bunch of feedback on what I would have done differently from an actually shooting the photo standpoint. If you're familiar with the channel, you know that I very, very rarely talk about actually shooting the photos themselves because I don't think it's that important when it comes to growing your business. But I do say that your photos have to be good enough. And that means good enough that clients are actually gonna like them and you do it right. So in this video, we're gonna dive in. I'm gonna show you what good enough looks like. I'm also gonna be pretty picky with some things that they could fix, but that ultimately probably wouldn't cause a problem. It's just easy to make some of these improvements. So we'll be going through 4 different ones. Keep in mind that most of these people, this is one of their first few shoots and they have just joined our coaching program. So they've gotten up to speed, but they may not be perfect yet. So whether you haven't even started shooting real estate yet or you already have a real estate photo business, I'm sure there's gonna be a thing or two that you can pull away from this video and the 4 projects we're about to critique, so let's do it. So the first house we have here is a pretty normal house. This is what most of you are gonna be shooting daily as real estate photographers. What I will say is that I'm not going to go overboard on things that I don't think really matter. My critique is gonna come from a place of, would these be deliverable or not at Norman & Young? And really be good enough, as I just said. And so I'm gonna skim through these. If I see any things that we would want tweaked, I'm gonna say, hey, I wouldn't deliver this, or I would say I would fix this in the future, but we would totally deliver this at Norman & Young. And so just moving through the photos here, I'm only gonna point out the stuff that really matters. So let's see, great shot there. Great shot there. I might have just raised the tripod a little bit so it's not as much of the back of the chair. And that's also going to prevent you showing the underside of the cabinets here, which I'll talk more about in a second, but totally deliverable at Norman & Young. So here's an area that I would encourage you to improve on in the future. Generally, the rule of thumb with kitchen cabinets is you don't want to see the underside of them. So you just raise your tripod. This is the only room where, like any room there's countertops where you'd want to raise it. Otherwise, keeping it low is good. But what's going to happen is you're not going to see the unfinished underside there, but it's also going to have a better perspective on countertops. It's not going to be as like straight on with the counters. So in all kitchen photos, you want to do that. Technically, we always recommend removing trash cans. I didn't even notice this until just now. Probably would have pulled it out, but otherwise the home looks very well prepped. Good photo there. I don't think much else you could have done with that angle, so that looks great. With garages, we don't usually shoot them unless the agent asks, especially if it's kind of messy like this one, but again, that's a preference thing. On a room like this, I would definitely, if this was a Norman & Young photographer, I would be giving them feedback on stepping out of the room when they shoot the photos. So I think your tripod is probably like in the room. Maybe not, but generally if you bring it into the hallway and just have like the barrel of the lens in the room, you have a much better shot of getting more of the room in the photo. It's just gonna make the room look more adequately sized and like you'll be able to see more floor, which makes the room look more like it does in person. The only other thing is our process at Norman & Young for this is, unless it's like really nasty in there or like there's a ton of shampoo bottles, we would open these curtains here so it just makes the room feel bigger. You see the entirety of the room. On this one, same thing. You could potentially step into the hallway, but overall great shot, totally deliverable. Everything has been. Nitpicking here, I don't want to see as much of this cabinet over here. Not the biggest deal again, but maybe just tilting to the right would be a little bit better on this one. A little higher on the tripod there would have been good. I probably would remove this and the ironing board, just clean it up a little bit. I like how you showed, instead of shooting the room from here and just seeing laundry room, I like how you showed back and shows how, you can see how it connects to the house. And that's an important thing with real estate photos. Like you want to show how the house flows as much as you can. And so I think you did a great job with this. Good shot there. A little higher on this one and probably open those curtains if there's not anything gross in there. Same on here, cabinet, or a little too much on the shelf or whatever that is there. Good shot there. Looks good. The exterior photos from an editing perspective, they're like a little cold and desaturated, so a little too blue and a little, I would probably saturate them a little more, makes them look a little more exciting. It's winter. I know it's kind of dead. There's a little snow on the ground, so like it's hard. It is probably very blue feeling out there, but a little more saturation and warmth would be good from an editing perspective. We'd totally deliver this, at Norman & Young with those issues. Good shot there. Good shot. Nice straight on. It's always hard when the sun's like right there and it kind of casts like a shadow here, but shot looks really good with that in mind. You always want to get this shot in every house you shoot. It's a front elevation shot. It's really important. Good shot there. Shows it's a big lot. Overall, this shoot is 100% deliverable according to at least what we would deliver at Norman & Young. So I think you did a super good job. On to the next one. This one is a completely different shoot. Looks like a condo, and I think it's in New York City, but we're not 100% sure. I went through this the first time and I thought this was the actual unit. I think this is the clubhouse, which makes more sense, but overall, just keep moving through the photos here. I probably would pull these generally out of the photos. I don't think there's a those are things that agents will notice. They're not often going to notice little things that we as photographers might about composition or anything like that. They will notice stuff in the photos. So always make sure to have a plan for removing that and get it out of your photos. Shots look good here. Nice straight on shot. This shoot did a really good job of having a lot of angled shots and a good mix of straight on shots and no halfway straight on shots like we'll talk about in some of the other critiques in here. Like you can see here the floor is lined up with the camera. It's a perfectly straight on shot. I think the angle is really good. I probably would have gone a little higher on this one. Good shot there, really showing the view. So this is something I think this person did a really good job with. This is kind of the angle that you would see, or like the perspective you would have if you were sitting in the couch. And obviously the perspective or the view is really important here. So it's like the view from the couch. What you'll see a lot of new real estate photographers do, which is generally a good thing, is they'll step back in the room as far as they can and make the shot as wide as possible. You want that most of the time, but having a good mixture of like some from the perspective sitting on the couch, some that show the entire room is a really good idea. Generally, that's even more important with cheaper houses where you just want to make it look as big as possible. A condo like this, you can get a little more artsy. I think this is the like we said, the clubhouse. So I probably would pull like QR codes and stuff like that. But overall, this looks really good. Keep moving through the photos here until I see something that really stands out. I probably wouldn't deliver two very similar shots like this. I would delete this one, keep the other one, but just makes it easier on them. The agent has to spend less time picking. And so a lot of times my feedback is like, hey, what's going to make an agent's life easier? And oftentimes they do not want to have more photos than they can work with or similar photos. Like it's mental energy on their part to try to reduce them. So most of our clients trust us to narrow them down. Great shot there. I think the like the clarity or contrast of the image could be turned up a little bit. It's more of an editing thing. It's a little hazy. The view's everything here, so I think getting that right is good, but we deliver those. Okay, so on this shot, you can tell it's like panned a little bit to the left. I would pan a little bit more right so it's perfectly straight on. You can see like this is an example, it just feels a little weird because it's like angled to the left slightly. Some of these shots, like you'd never do this in a house where it was a window. You wouldn't shoot out the window like this, but it's New York City. Like the view is important, the location is important. So that looks good. Again, like pick some shots here, erase a little bit. That's kind of my general feedback with this whole bedroom is like, just be more thoughtful about what shots you deliver. We wouldn't want to deliver this many at Norman Young. You also pay for a ton of editing when you overshoot. In here looks good. I'm going to raise the tripod a little bit. This underside of the cabinet is nice, and those are really tall cabinets, so probably can't raise it up enough to not see that. What an agent is going to notice is this. So the stuff on the counter, the soap, the charger, that kind of stuff, I'd remove that. The champagne can stay, but like everything else I would say should go. That's what an agent's going to see. Like I said earlier, you as a photographer are going to see composition, lighting, everything like that, and they're going to see the dirt on the floor, the sink that has stuff in it, the towel that's not perfect here. So spend a lot of time on that. It's always an important, like right before you take a shot, you like, I'm not going to focus on the camera for a second. What's in the room? Does it look good? Cool. Good shots there. Try to get a little bit more out of the bathroom if you can on this one, but I understand it's a tight bathroom. I'd probably deliver this shot, not this one. So this one and that one is what I'd deliver. Looks like nighttime of the same thing. I like the detail shot there. I probably wouldn't have done as many in this room. Like 1 or 2 shots in here would do, but I understand you want to get it right and give them something to choose from. Trash can in this last one. Probably remove that. It's kind of a rule that we always try to make sure happens. But overall, really good photos here. Totally deliverable at Norman & Young. I would say that you may not have delivered them in this order, but when you're delivering them to your client, you want to put them in walkthrough order. So I would do unit first, amenities second, and not so much back and forth between all that. It just makes it a little easier for them. They don't have to rearrange it as much. But overall, no complaints. We totally deliver this one at Norman & Young. So good job. Back on completely the other side of the country, I think, with this shoot. But starting with some aerial photos, that photo looks great. You caught yourself in the photo. It's the only thing that looks like you and the real estate agent standing out there. So may want to edit that out. But I looked at these already real quick. We actually filmed this, and then the camera wasn't recording. It's a long story, so I saw it already. Anyway, photo looks good. Probably edit out that trash can, but other than that, it looks pretty good there. I can see you in the photo as well. Really good aerials. The whole point with aerials that a lot of times new photographers miss is they like are so focused on the house they don't show the view. The aerials are almost all about the view. So you're showing where this house is relative to everything else. I think that's awesome. Like this shot is super great. I don't know where this is, but it's nice here. Anyway, you can see the downtown area, great mountain view, and you had some variety. So you had some lower level shots, some higher level shots, looks great. Moving inside, nothing to critique there. This photo is a little weird. It's kind of like a half straight on again, but not really a big deal. I would have probably just like made it go straight on with like this being the center or something. Good shot. Good shot. You can see we're pretty good on the cabinet height. We're a little above the countertop, so that's good. These look good. I'm wondering if you left your tripod height up after the kitchen, though. It could just be a low ceiling in here, but make sure to drop that down if not. That is a weird TV. That looks like a staging TV. That's got to be fake. Either way, continuing on. Good shot there. Good shot. This one, I think it was like tilted down and the editor tried to fix it, so it looks a little weird. I probably would try to get out of the room a little bit more, show more of the vanity, and I think you could do that by just backing up, but I don't know the layout of the room. Yeah, you definitely could have just backed up. So what I've been saying on a lot of these shots is what happens is photographers will put their tripod here, but you really want to be like out here. I don't know what's going on out there. That's weird. Anyway, you want to put it out there so you can like show more of the room, like with just a barrel in the room. Verticals are a little off on this one. You can see this wall is crooked and that's a little crooked. I just need to like adjust your knobs on your tripod a little bit. Looks good. This one, you want to perfectly straight on. You can see it's like a little crooked here. So just fix that, just a little detail. Good shot. That's crazy to look at, but looks good. Perfectly straight on there. Looks pretty good. This one, straighten it up. So again, you're like, you slightly panned a little bit. You either want to be like committed to the angle or committed to straight. That's a really good shot. Good shot there. It's nice and hilly wherever this is. I think this is California, but I don't know. Vote in the comments what you guys think. If anybody knows by that downtown, let me know. Almost straight on there, so you can see more of the step here than that side. Just a little fix. Good. If you step, so the sun I think is like literally right here. You may have been able to step just a little bit forward and block all this lens flare, but it looks kind of nice. So that's kind of a style move. Good shot there. This one I feel like it doesn't. You could make it a little wider, but again, it's kind of hard to shoot this type of house. I probably would have tried to get like a straight on that shows just the front of the front elevation of the house, but. Great job on this one. Again, totally would have delivered this at Norman & Young, just a couple of small tweaks. Nothing that would ever prevent you from working with a client. Nothing that a client would say anything about, 9 out of 10 or 99 out of 100 times more than likely. So on to the next one. All right, this one we're over in cold Utah. And it's warm here today, so I don't envy whoever lives here. But anyway, the mountains look nice. Good shot there, good drone shot. House is super tidy and clean outside. Good variety. We're seeing like those different levels. So we have like some lower level drone shots. We went higher. I would say the photos were like, let's see if he does it. Yeah, okay. So we got different angles there. So I think a little too many drone photos personally. I would probably try to eliminate some of those, but that depends on the client. Overall, they look good. I probably would have gone, I don't think there was any that were closer to like 400 feet. And I think I would have done that in this case just to show a little bit more of the view. Maybe the other direction too. Like there's mountains over there. Kind of, but those are kind of far. So I like to have variety with the drone shots. At least the hot tubs looks nice in that cold weather. Anyway, moving inside. Verticals are a little off there. I think it feels like the photo's like tilted back and the editor tried to fix it, but it looks really good. The editing's super clean. You can see on this one, he went high enough. You don't see the underside of the cabinets. That's perfect height. I think I know who this is. This could be a she, but I'm pretty sure this is a he. Anyway, continuing. Looks good there. This is a very good job on this shoot. Maybe could have stepped out in the hallway a little bit more on that one, but overall looks good. House is very clean, which makes it easy. Good variety of shots. Perfect camera height on this one. Editing's great. I mean, these are just there's no really need to critique anything on these because these photos look good. This is like what we expect from our Norman & Young photographers. So see if I can even find any issues. Again, I don't like to spend too much time on stuff that doesn't matter. So like, yeah, if you ask some high-end architectural photographer, they could give you feedback on every single photo. And that to me that's not what builds a business. That's not what pays the bills. So I don't do that. There's plenty of channels that will do that. Most of those people just don't make any money though. And so for me, it's about building the business. And for everybody going like, well, it's not all about the money. I know it's not all about the money. But if you want to build a successful business, money is the tool you need to do that. So you have to structure your business that way. It allows you to serve more clients, hire teams, create opportunity for other people. And so that's my goal. Overall, super good shoot. I like that you took the time to take the lid off the hot tub. Looks great. Good shot there. Super solid front elevation. I mean, like 10 out of 10. No problems with this shoot at all. Absolutely would happily deliver at Norman & Young. So good job. Whoever this is, I think his name starts with a W, and so if he's watching this, I don't know if I got it right or not. But either way, your goal is just more of these shoots now because you're doing it perfectly. So that's all for this video. Main thing I want to keep in mind here is that these people are people in our launch coaching programs who have just started their business, and that shows you that it's not that hard to learn how to shoot real estate well. Every single one of these shoots, which I literally picked the first 4 that clients submitted for us to critique, were great, and we would totally deliver them at Norman & Young. And so the thing you really have to keep in mind, and the trap that so many photographers fall into, is they spend way too much time doing what I did in this video and just nitpicking their photos. You want to get it to a level that's acceptable, which every one of these shoots was acceptable completely. Everybody can find critiques. If I look at the photos, it's going to be different than if Aaron on the team looks at photos than Jared. They're all going to have different critiques. But the goal is like, hey, are these good enough? And all of these are for sure good enough. Clients would be super happy with them. And what's really going to make a difference in your business is how your clients feel working with you. And so if they enjoy working with you, if you show up on time, you dress nicely, you're respectful, you treat their homeowners well, you just provide a good experience, you deliver the photos back quickly, you're spot on when they ask for a retouch request or when they book a shoot, you're quick. Like, you do the things that the clients care about. All you need is good enough photos. But if you don't do that other stuff, the best photos in the world won't save you, right? So you have to have good enough photos plus an awesome customer service experience. And if you do that, that's how you build a photo business quickly and how you build a big photo business. And that's exactly what we help our clients in coaching do, is know when that point of good enough is and then go all in on the stuff that builds the actual photo business. It is so easy to get trapped as a photographer in this cycle of perfection that leaves you poor. And you don't want to do that. If you're watching my channel, more than likely you know that, and you know your goal is to build a good business. So make sure your photos are good enough. Don't spend any more time on them. Go out there and build your business, and I'll see you in the next video.